What's left to talk about in this last chapter? I have covered everything that I wanted to talk about in Ender Lilies. I'd still like to round out my thoughts, which in some of the previous entries might have sounded contradictory. Let's finish this slightly more in-depth look at Ender Lilies. Hi there, my name's Sasa, and I have to mention this because it's kind of important. Like and subscribe and hit the bell icon. Told you it's important. The links to my blog and social channels can be found in the description down below. Feel free to check those out as well and give me a follow. However, liking this video, sharing it and subscribing to my channel really helps out a ton and only requires a few clicks, so just go for it. Okay, one more time to get it out of my system. Like and subscribe. Yeah, back to Ender Lilies. That I'm quite fond of this game should have come through in the previous chapters, both im and explicitly. One of the big things that I liked about the game is the character customization through the relics. The charm system is one of the additions that I always really liked in Hollow Knight as well, and while relics function similarly, they are not quite the same. It's this kind of remodeling of the genre that makes this game stand out to me. Same as Super Metroid did on the SNES, even though I was actually too young to understand why I liked it so much, how Symphony of the Night brought stat-based leveling into the mix, and how Hollow Knight increased both the production value and scope by a ginormous margin. Ender Lilies might not do anything that stands out by itself, although I'd argue that the lore and the plot are very intriguing to say the least. The whole package the game presents is amazing. The game absolutely has its fair share of issues. It's by no means a perfect game. Blighted Lord is the biggest issue in my eyes, but there are also other things like revisiting old areas usually only yield relatively little exciting stuff to collect. That's not to say it's not worth it to clear out the map, but not once did I gain an ability that made my jaw drop in amazement. Skills, moves and combat are all serviceable and nothing is bad here, but it's also a little understated and could absolutely have done with a little more flair. Parrying, for example, you barely ever need to use it, and if you do, you hardly get anything out of it. Then as the game goes on, you find less and less flowers to replenish your limited use spirits, so you instinctively start to use them less, which dials the combat dynamics back even further. As you can do everything in the game in one playthrough, including all trophies, combat and movement not being all that exciting, there is very little incentive to jump back into the game. I think back on the game very fondly, but when I consider playing it again, my brain immediately goes, nah, what for? Exploration is great and is the backbone of a Metroidvania, it's what drives the entire experience, but you can only really explore once. After that, you're just moving around in familiar environments. You also get both wall jumping and the hookshot extremely late in the game, which further limits your options in taking different routes through the game. All of that combined just doesn't really scream replayability. That's all after the fact of having played through the game though. My actual time with the game, going through it without any knowledge about it, was awesome, as it was all about exploring and piecing together what had actually transpired here. So yeah, I would still say the game is really good. If you like Metroidvania games, I'm almost certain that you're going to enjoy Ender Lilies. The game has a lot of charm, plays, looks and sounds great, and has an interesting backstory. Apart from the two bosses I mentioned, the majority of issues that I can think of won't be an issue in the first playthrough, so I can quite confidently recommend this game if you like the genre. So after all of this, are you going to give Ender Lilies a try, or have you played it already? If you have, I'd love to know your thoughts on the game. Let me know in the comments. If you haven't done so already, please hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, give me a follow on Twitter, Instagram, and if you have the time, pay my blog a visit as well. Thank you very much for watching my video on Ender Lilies all the way to the end. I really appreciate it, so once again, thank you. My name is Sasa, and I will see you next time.